Boom. Welcome. This is figure out how to make this a cool experience from this standpoint.
Oh, good. Yeah, it'll sort itself out.
I need more pizza.
Yeah. Back this guy up a little bit here.
Everyone's dated up anyway. Welcome. We have our guest Richard on bystand. I will bring him in. First, I do want to let everyone know. Boom! I want to go here. Then I'm gonna change that. We have our what is it? It's kind of like an app homepage. A homepage. We have our homepage. We'll be sending it out, but pretty much we have we're doing some new branding. So first and foremost, we'll share. We've made some changes. That's why there's not many people here right now. We changed it basically at the leadership. Decided to go different ways. We wanted to see things differently, and ultimately, all I can say is the other group wanted to see more of a social group, and I would say me and Devin more wanted to see it as a business and just run it as such. That's why we have the school. We kind of felt like it was pointless to have people show up and not be able to
Do deals.
Yeah, do deals and educate them in a structured way. Just me regurgitating my life story and thinking you should know how to build a real estate business, I don't think is fair or accurate. So we decided that we should just go separate ways. We wanted this to be a little bit more professional. Obviously, there's some beers in there, but we don't really want to do it during the meeting. We want to save it more for after the 7 o'clock, especially since we are doing stuff more live and recording, because we also want to help the other members in the group. So, like, obviously, these videos you can use to repost, reaching out to us and stuff like that, and being part of school, because we're all little mini businesses and we want to support and do that. And again, you just kind of made a point. There's no point of us showing up here every month and not one of us do a deal. And we've been doing this for almost 18 months now, and all the deals have been outside of what's doing. And so if we don't approach this like, how can I build a relationship with you so you feel comfortable? I can honestly say right now he's here because I'm his broker, and we're in a deal together trying to, burr his property. And that's what I want. And if we're not promoting that, then what's the point? And as I share with them, we can just go to the other groups. If we're just going to show up and have drinks and not figure out how to do deals together, then let's just go there. We don't need to do all this. I don't need to argue with you about showing up to a meeting to plan for this, right? If you just want to, we can just show up, and then we don't have to have a Google chat. You don't have to explain to me why you didn't show up, right? We can just go somewhere else. So that's really why the change, and that's why that many people's not here. We're kind of shifting gears from that standpoint. Technically, I don't want to say we don't want, but we want these meetings to kind of be more intimate so that we can build those relationships. But the school, we want to grow because we want to educate as many people as we can in the market, because the more educated market, the better the real estate market is. So,
yeah.
But if you want to share us, please, like I said, we'll put this in a group and we'll put this in school as well. But this is a good way to recruit other people for us. Okay.
Is this like a different website, or is it a completely different website?
Yeah. So like that's our landing page, and then and I want to do this, but I'll bring Richard back in. Hey, Richard, I'm gonna go over a certain part, and then I'm gonna bring you back in, and then let you take over. Okay, sir?
Okay.
So yeah, that's our just a landing page. I mean, obviously we're using AI, and Richard's going to kind of speak on his app and how AI is affecting him. But we kind of just use AI to create a landing page, but give people more understanding of what we're doing before they have to go into school, because school doesn't really let you do that. It's more of
It's a place for people who are
learning about our ecosystem and learning about AspiRE to come to and kind of figure out more about what our mission is and what we're trying to accomplish, and then also direct them to more resources.
So today, obviously, we like to go through our little introductions. I won't say little because they're very important. Then I'm going to do some market numbers, but I'm going to try something different because AI, I do have the notebook LM that I've been using. So when we get to that point, I'm going to let it explain and I want to get y'all feedback. And then we're going to get to Richard and I'll let him speak. 40 plus flips a year, correct?
Yep.
All right, and then he's going to talk about his app and then go into his story. And then hopefully after that, we're going to just try to run numbers on a local deal that I was looking at. We'll still consider your.
All good.
And then, like I said, we can mingle afterwards. All that good stuff. All right. I'll go this way. Michael.
My name is Michael. Out-of-state investor, live in Chicago. Recently bought a house here in Milwaukee. Doing some rehab with Charles right now. Still in the beginning phases, but work is being done.
Nice. So what do you want to have? What goal do you want to have by next meeting?
By the next meeting, I'd like to have all of our contracts signed, know like our official number, and basically just get all the materials figured out.
Okay. All right.
Nice. Yeah, I'm Andrew. I live in West Dallas currently. I have 2 rental properties in Dubuque, Iowa. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to continue expanding here in the Milwaukee area. I've recently gone through some personal changes, going through a divorce right now. So that's fairly new. So as far as goals, I'm thinking the next move is buying a duplex or like a triplex or a 4-unit to do a house hack in. So yeah, kind of waiting for the dust to settle a little bit on that, but yeah, I need to move forward with buying something.
You could always do a DSCR.
Okay.
I mean, hard money. So you got to buy with the LLC.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a way for you to keep going. And I believe if you get the Delaware or Wyoming,
Wyoming's the best.
yeah.
Okay.
Because then now it's
separate.
it's you but not you.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down.
So
You
yeah,
said
I
Wyoming?
feel like that's probably the best way for you to keep moving things forward
Okay.
in your situation. So you don't be like, oh, I can't do nothing until this is done.
Yeah.
I would also consider, I mean, obviously you have your cash and however they got to be split up, but speaking to a hard money lender, I know like we're using Mach 1. They only do 4 points. So you could buy a duplex.
Okay.
House hack it. I mean, technically, I'm live. Technically, you could, because you are a business, you could buy the duplex. You got to rent it out. You technically can't rent it to you, but you could then technically rent it out to another business. Which
Sure.
is you.
Yeah. No, I got you.
But that's the rules. It technically can't be professionally, but
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Well, great to meet you all. I am Devin, co-founder here at AspiRE with Charles. Manage a lot of the back-end business operations stuff, so you guys will be seeing me a little bit more here in the coming months. I am a Marine Corps veteran, spent 6 years in the Marine Corps, and I have been in the real estate industry for going on 5 years now, 5 years in August. I'm a commercial salesperson and broker, along with Charles being the investor side. What goal did I accomplish since the last meeting? A lot of the stuff with AspiRE, back-end operations, the landing page, all of our social accounts and handles, marketing and advertising strategies, and our operating agreement situation. And then what am I going to do to move forward by next meeting? I'd like to have an accepted offer on this 12-unit apartment building out in Iowa. Got to finish running the numbers and put together an offer on it, but sounds promising.
there's where your HELOC.
There you go.
There you go. 12 units. You go from 2
The
to
12.
12, 14
Oh, yeah.
units in one deal.
Hell yeah.
Richard, your goal.
Oh man, so my biggest goal for the next 30 days. It's funny you asked this because we actually do the same thing in one of the tribes I'm with. But I'm running meta ads right now for my app, and I'm dissecting them quite a bit on what's sticking, what's not sticking, and I need to make 6 new ads over the next 30 days, or I guess 22 days is my big goal leading up.
Okay. So are these ads that you want to personally do with a camera in front of you, or are you going to try to use AI digital stuff?
Combination. I've got ideas on my phone. I've been out of pocket for a week. And so starting next Monday, I will be cranking on them and starting to deploy and seeing what sticks.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I'm Charles. I am the real estate investment broker. I have raised the standard, but then I'm also under Next Home My Way, co-founder of AspiRE. Last month, I wanted to close on Michael's deal, which we did, and we got that going. My goal is to get 2 accepted offers for my clients, and then my goal is to find land that me and another partner of mine wants to try to develop. So I want us to narrow it down to 3 choices. So that's my goal for next month. So, all right.
I like it.
All right, this is it. So this is the Southeastern Wisconsin snapshot. So obviously, as me being an investment broker, I cover Southeastern Wisconsin. So anything from Milwaukee and surrounding communities and cities to all the way down to Kenosha and to the state line. So I try to center our information on that, but I wanted to use this. So let's see how this goes. Oh, will it do it? Don't tell me it's not. It won't do it because I have this going. What's it supposed to do? It's supposed to play because it's not playing. I don't know if it's because I have this on. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. Have to do it this way, I think.
Housing inventory, pricing power, and sales velocity across Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha counties for June 2026. First, properties are moving at lightning speed. Average days on market is remarkably tight. Just 15 days in Kenosha, 16 in Milwaukee, and 19 in Racine. It's basically a high-stakes game of musical chairs. Buyers literally have about 2 weeks to make a move before the music stops. Second, so if homes are selling that fast, is there anything actually left to buy? Well, yeah, because inventory is surging to meet demand, especially in Milwaukee. Milwaukee County saw 1,194 new listings in June. That's a massive 184% jump compared to 6 months ago. But it makes you wonder, are these new listings just sitting there? Or is this massive wave of new inventory instantly being swallowed up by the fast market? Finally, what you buy dictates how you negotiate this fast-moving inventory. The Milwaukee market is completely split by budget. The sub-100K tier is a relaxed buyer's market with over 4 months of supply, and homes are actually selling below asking at a 94.2% sale-to-list ratio. Meanwhile, everything from $300K up to $1 million is a fierce seller's market, with all tiers selling over asking price. Think about the irony here. How can a single city simultaneously host a relaxed buyer's market for entry-level properties and a cutthroat seller's market for the middle to upper tiers? Ultimately, whether you're hunting for a sub-100K discount or fighting over a premium $500,000 property, your specific price band dictates exactly how much leverage you really have.
So, how do you feel you can take advantage of that?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming when they're talking about the sub 100K, they're talking about like extreme, like, you know, distressed properties.
Yeah, so this is basically the case of your haves and your have-nots, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's also saying, can you find those deals that if you fix them them up and now they're over the 200,
Yeah,
then you're going to get yourself in a situation where you got a bunch of buyers for it,
yeah.
right? So it's how can I find the property that's under 100 close enough to the properties where it can be 200, 300 if you fix it up?
Close enough, like location-wise, you're saying? Yeah.
Because I mean, there has to be,
Yeah.
you know, there's a reason, right? Like if there's 100, because they're basically saying 4 months, but average sale goes what 16 days. So you got 4 months of supply in one area, and then you got anything you put on the market is selling in 16 days, or it's getting an accepted offer. So I was just saying again, like our areas are still hot. I mean, I feel like there's any day I go on the MLS, something's getting an accepted offer that didn't have an offer before. If something's priced right, I think it's getting an accepted offer that week. So the fix and flip market, I think, is still hot here. It's just, can you find those pockets where you can get the property a little bit distressed? It's been sitting and someone didn't see it, or the one I want to look at, I think it's prime for that, but I feel like it's the current owner did them a disjustice on the next person that's trying to get the property, and they're trying to cash in on value that they didn't put in, but the market says that property can be worth that, but they're trying to take that value when they didn't put into it. But yeah, I'm trying something new using AI. Richard, what do you think about that? What do you feel?
I actually enjoyed it. I like AI better than your voice.
Fair.
It was entertaining.
How is your market right now? Is it similar? I mean, obviously with you being a fix and flipper, you want those markets where it's still good for sellers.
Yeah, we're getting crushed right now. That's the reality of it. But it's a very soft market. So things are days on market, 30, 40, 50 is like, now that's a norm, which, that's not what I love to see, but it is what it is. The inventory, I track the FRED data, which is the Federal Reserve of St. Louis. They track all the real estate data, amongst other things, across the nation. So I track our city, DFW. It's called DFW-A. They include Arlington. And then I also track the county that we primarily flip in. 80% of our flips are in Collin County. So DFW-A was at 29,000 actives. Well, a healthy market for us is like anywhere from 15,000 to 23,000. That's when stuff's like got some good pace to it, nothing crazy. So it's very high, which makes the soft market. But our county decreased from 2,800 actives down to I think like 2,400 last month. And we got 5 houses under contract to sell. We're closing in the next 3 weeks. So that data correlates with our market, and I love it.
Okay. Well, I think this leads me straight into you. Well,
Awesome.
Richard, I mean, you already got the floor.
Cool, I'm
have
Richard.
at it.
All right, I'm Richard Helpy Schmieder. I'm a full-time flipper. I live in the DFW area, right in between D and FW in Grapevine. I flip over 40 houses a year. I've been doing this full-time for 10 years. I've been in real estate for 14 years. I used to work at a gas station. And while I was at that gas station, I was buying rental properties, and I eventually worked myself outside of that gas station and doing this full-time, and haven't looked back since. My big goal, which I haven't met yet, but I want to make $1 million in net. Now, I do have a partner in my company, a business partner, but $1 million combined for both of us. Maybe this will be the year, maybe not. We'll see. But that's something I'm striving to do, and why we're constantly challenging ourselves to buy, and just do more. The Alex Hormozy approach. I'm also a founder of an iOS app called Bird Dog Wolf. that uses AI to scan images on the MLS and determine whether the property is flippable or not. And so instead of me having to manually look at different Zillow listings and MLS listings to see if I want to put an offer on a house, this does that for me. And about 20% of our purchases come from it. So that's been fun working on that project for the past 2.5 years. I'm a professional flipper. I also have a rental portfolio. I build ADUs, but I don't want to touch on those. I think what I heard from a couple of you guys talking about is like Charles was looking for some land to buy. I know another person was looking for a duplex triplex. Someone's closing on a 12 unit. That's sweet. That's a huge win. So I want to kind of focus on the acquisition side and how I acquire and how we're able to do volume in a Dallas market where it's very competitive here. There's still a lot of capital in the market, and we're competing with people that are first-time investors or just have deeper pockets. And so it's always challenging to stick to your numbers when you have a lot of outside pressure from the salespeople to get you to buy their house, whether it's an agent, a wholesaler, or a homeowner that says they can get more. So that's a challenge. But then it's important that you do. And so it's just really about doing more all the time. So I'll chat about the lead gen. I'll go from our least amount of lead gen, like our worst lead gen avenue, to our best lead gen avenue. And so the one that we haven't seen a whole lot of fruit from, but we're still pursuing, is the pay-per-click avenue. So we do not do our own ads on Google and Facebook and Meta, but we hired a company, I guess we're on month 3 now, where we like Motivated Sellers, Lead Zolo. It's a company like that. They're called Red Panda Leads, where we get text messages and emails from homeowners that want to sell their house, and we set the appointment. That's always our number one goal, is setting an appointment to see the house and to meet them. And we've had 3 shots on goal, missed 3. And so that one hasn't brought us any deals yet, but we've only been doing it for 3 months. I'm a little bit encouraged by it.
So you say you got 3 opportunities. About how many did you have to go through to get those 3 opportunities?
About 20 leads, and it's all about follow-up.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've walked 3 of the houses. One of them, we know that she already sold and moved away. And then the other 2, they need to sell, but we walk the house, we give an offer, and then it's being ghosted, which is, it's fine. It's a part of it's all about follow-up. So for the years I've been doing this, like, doesn't matter the lead source. It just matters that you follow up all the time. So I'm encouraged on that. We're still going to pursue that, and we're probably going to open up another marketing channel with a different company. We're using Red Panda now. We're probably going to open up Motivated Sellers as well and see if they can provide better leads, because we are getting shots on goal, and that's what matters. The second one is the letter campaign. This is also a new avenue for us. So we have this big goal. The goal this year is to get to 50. We have closed 23 houses this year, 24 next week, hopefully 25 and 26. I got 2 in the pipeline that I've locked down. Just need to do a 5-minute walkthrough. It's a formality for us to make sure we're not missing anything from the pictures. But the letters, we started doing a letter campaign about 2 months ago to probate and estate. So people who passed away. And the way we're operating that avenue is I've got a guy that we hire, and his job is to pull the county records. It takes 30 seconds. to get that list in the 3 counties that we buy in primarily. And then he goes into each probate court case number. And what we look for, which is when you buy a lead list from a company for probate, they're not doing this. And this is an important part of the process, is you want to make sure that that home is now owned by an heir, so like a brother, sister, something, and they actually own property. So a lot of times these lists that you pull will just pull probate lists, and it's like they might not even own the property. They might rent something, or it might be an apartment, or you'll see like, you know, John Jones is married to Sarah Jones, and John passed away, so his probate case is out there, but Sarah Jones and John Jones lived at this house, and this is their homestead. So Sarah's just going to continue to live there. So it's not really a, you know, we're not trying to, you know, hey, your husband died, Sarah, let's buy the home from you, when she's still living there. So we're not pursuing those. We're pursuing them when it's John Jones, you know, passed away, and then, you know, Sarah Marshall now owns the home, and we learned that this is his daughter's or something like that. And we then pursue her at her address, which is all in the county, as well as the home address to the family of John Jones. So we scrape our list, we cull our list to the most important ones, and then we send this off to a woman named Jennifer, who we pay 50 cents a letter, and she prints the paper, puts it in the stamp, handwrites the front of the envelope so it gets open, and mails it. So the letter is all just printed on paper. It's all the same for every house, but the front of the letter is handwritten, which gets an open rate. And we did that. We've done that for 2 months now. We got our first lead yesterday, sent a contract off, hoping to get that one signed as well. So I like this, because we're not even trying. And I'm like, okay, now, so we're going to ramp this up this month.
So how many letters do you get for this one signing?
Oh man, probably 190, 200.
Okay.
Nothing. Yeah. So man, I love it. So I'll let you know in a few months, Charles. I'll text you, because see how many more shots on goal we get with it. Because I'm liking the ROI. I think she's going to take our offer, and it should be a $20,000 banger. Nothing huge, but a base hit. So
Okay.
the next thing, which this is my favorite, but it's like middle of the road as far as our acquisition goes. We probably buy 3 to 5 a year. Is word of mouth and networking. I'm not talking about wholesalers or agents. I'm talking about like family, friends, people that go through divorce, or people that have death in the family, or their mother. Like I purchased houses from my wife's coworkers, their parents. A Home Depot lady called me one time, was like, hey, this customer's here and she needs to sell her house. Man, we've had a lot of interesting stories where people just approach us and as a problem solver. Neighbors, like they're like, hey man, I need to get out of this, over the past 10 years. And that's a fun lead source, because it's personal, and there's usually no competition. I'm not competing with anybody else. And so it's kind of a name your price, and as long as it works for both parties, it's a done deal. And then you can do add-ons for them too, like, hey, I can clear your house out, I can donate this furniture for you. Hey, I know you're looking for, someone was looking for like a necklace charm in a house, and we were able to find that for them during demo day. Like that's very fulfilling. And so the middle of the road acquisition, usually 3 to 5 a year, come from that. The next one is wholesalers. So we do buy from wholesalers. Not my favorite, because they are not loyal typically, but they provide anywhere from 10 to 12 houses a year. And the way that we find it, this is like super practical, which everyone can take this home, take this to the bank and actually do is, so I'm constantly on Facebook, just sending once a week in all the Facebook groups in Dallas, hey, add offers.shapetex@gmail.com to your email list, email blast list. And so we have a whole email box just for offers. And so then these emails start coming in, they start adding, you have little sidebar conversations in the DMs, like, hey, just put this email on the list, give me everything you got. So they come in, and then my Gmail, anytime these come in, I filter them and put them into a separate box for wholesalers. So every day I open up my wholesalers inbox, which has anywhere from 20 to 50 new emails. Check all the, in the Gmail, check all the boxes. So they all get highlighted blue. And I just scroll through every single one of them and uncheck the ones that I'm interested in, because we're location buyers. We're not buying in tertiary markets. We're not buying in the hood. So Richardson, Plano, parts of Dallas, Grapevine, Southlake, Keller, Denton, I'm unchecking all those boxes. And then I select mark red for the rest that are all checked. So I don't have to think about 50 emails. I'm really only focusing on the 3 to 5 a day that I want to offer on. And then for those emails, I put an offer on everything. Typically what we see when we buy is a wholesaler will say, hey, I want 300 for this property. And I'm like, well, I can, that's not going to work for me. I can do 260 is where I need to be at. And a lot of times it'll be like a week before closing. They're like, hey, can you do 270? And I'm like, okay, I do 265, or we'll cut a deal, because they weren't able to move it at their price. And so it's so important to offer on every single thing, no matter what, because you never know when they're going to come back or something's going to fall through. And as you build a reputation as a credible buyer, and like, this guy can close and he can close in 3 days, that's how I would say half of the deals from wholesalers are them coming back to us after they couldn't close it with somebody else, or they saying, I couldn't find a buyer at this price. Because any professional flipper, if you line 10 of us up in a row and we're all looking at the same house, we're all going to be within $10,000 of an offer from each other. So we all know where we need to be, but the wholesaler is trying to make as much as possible because that's their business. Totally get that. So if they can't sell it to an institution, a first-time investor that doesn't understand the numbers, or someone else that just needs to place capital, they're coming back to these 10 professional flippers, and that's how we get about half of the opportunities of the 10 to 12 we buy. Important to note too, as we go into our number one acquisition source is wholesalers make the margin from the bottom line. They get it under contract for 300, they sign it for 350, they make 50,000. Our number one acquisition source is real estate agents and MLS, and building relationships with professionals. So they're not as incentivized as wholesalers to make that extra spread, because they're only getting 3%. So if I'm a professional buyer and I have a reputation and I'm working with an agent and I say, I can pay you 300 for this, the agent's getting $9,000. Now, if they say, okay, I can do 310, then the agent's getting $9,900, a $900 difference. And so if they go with me at 300 versus maybe a new investor that doesn't have the reputation, or they're new at 310, then and they're risking not closing for their client, that's going to give them a bad reputation. So that's how we're able to get it for 300 with an agent. And I'm explaining this, explaining this a little wild, but the agent is incentivized to close the deal and make sure it gets done quickly to keep the reputation, as opposed to the bottom line dollar. As a wholesaler, that $300,000 to $310,000 spread, that's $10,000 in their pocket. So they'll probably take the chance with the new investor, because that's a huge amount of bottom line dollars in their pocket, as opposed to an agent. It's a $900 spread, but they know for sure they're going to close with us. So number one acquisition lead source is agents. And a big part of this is putting in a ton of offers and then following up with a text and phone call. So offers are great, but what I've learned is a text and a phone call after an offer goes a very, very long way. We put out anywhere from 50 to 70 offers every month, and we have conversations with agents, and we do it we put up high option, high earnest money, very clean Texas real estate contract. My business partner is an agent, so we kind of have the ability to do, come off it professionally licensed. Hey, here's who we are. And what I've learned is that agents want to work with other agents. And so you have a competitive advantage if you have an agent on your team like Charles. The follow-up, the first phone call as soon as we put the offer in is so incredibly important, just to know that you're human, because I get to see a little bit of what an agent goes through vicariously through my business partner, Shane. And when we flip so many houses, we get blasted with ridiculous offers, things that aren't written well, things that are on like, I want to buy your house with creative finance, like all this nonsense. And then even like blind offers that we just ignore. We just say, we're not going to have those conversations. But if someone were to call us and humanize it, okay, now we're negotiating. So agents have been the best to work with by far over the past 10 years. And once you do one transaction with them and you can lock them down, you've got them for life. You're going to be their first call for everything. And a typical agent does, I think, like 1 to 3 deals a year. It's not, probably kind of less than that, I'd imagine. Not many. And so it's a volume game. The more agents you can touch with clean offers, the more chances they're going to call you when they have a deal.
I agree.
All right, let me touch base real quick about BirdDog AI and how we use that as well with our acquisitions, because this has been a huge help with us. We purchased about
Rick,
15.
if you did want to show it, you could send it. I don't know if I can on a browser. I can bring it up over here if you want me to do it that way.
No, it's okay, man. We're because it's all on iOS now. I actually bought an iPhone last week because I don't have an iPhone. I don't even know how to use it, man. I'm like trying to. There we go. Sweet. It's that little bird and the dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, real fast on how this goes. This might be helpful for you guys in your market. But what I used to do when I'm, making offers on the MLS, building relationships with agents, I used to go to neighborhoods that I knew and in the cities that I liked, clicked on the houses, swipe. Let me look at the pictures. So what I see a lot of time is the descriptions on these houses. They'll say beautiful home, corner lot, tons of potential, well maintained. And when you look at the pictures, you're like, okay, there's foundation cracks. This is dated. We're missing drywall over here. The agent's not putting that in the description, because if an agent puts that in the description, the owner that they're working for sees that and is like, I'm going to fire this cat. Like, this is my house. They get offended, instead of an agent being honest, saying, this house is terrible. It's going to need $50,000 worth of work. The foundation's rough. So you never see those descriptive updates, and the images tell a bigger story. So I still do this today alongside the app, but I just whip through pictures at night, go to click on the next house, whip through pictures at night, and look for houses that are dated, that are overpriced. So they don't have a pricing indicator. They're not like lower than everything else in the neighborhood. They don't have a description indicator. The agent is lying their tail off just in order to keep the contract, because agents live and die by the, having listings and clients. And then putting in an offer that represents the actual value of the house. And that's when the agent can go to their seller and make a case and say, hey, look, this is actually where I wanted to price it. This is a good offer. Here's why. And they can go to bat for you. So I've been doing that for years. And so I called my friend Spencer up like 2.5 years ago, and he's a web developer, or he's actually iOS developer. And I was like, man, I would love it if you could build a program that did this for me. And so he's like, I think I can do that, because this is when AI started kind of hitting the scene a little bit. And so a couple months later, he built the first version of BirdDog Wolf, where we gathered all the images from the MLS and the areas we bought. It scanned them, and it looked for stains in the ceiling, foundation cracks, old fixtures, different types of colors of carpeting, furniture that's left behind, if it's antique or not, because a lot of time that's a tell if it's an estate and they're willing to take a fast sale. It goes through all these images, and then it spits out to us the ones every single day which ones we need to offer on. And it's since the 2.5 years ago, it's been iterated. We just launched the iOS app, and it's a 7-day free trial for anybody. And it notifies you anytime it finds a property, and it's constantly looking at anytime houses come active on the market. It runs a daily check on all the new actives and dishes them right to you based off of what you're looking. Since day one iteration, we've added description indicators as well as AI looking at the language of the agents and what they're writing and determining whether or not it could be a potential good offer. And so this is, in addition to all the other things I talked about, lead source before, this is another lead source that we use that just helps expedite our searching process for flips.
So are you connected to, I guess, nationwide MLS, or are you only in certain areas?
Yeah, we're nationwide. So if it's on the MLS in any city and it's got pictures, we can scan it.
Nice.
So what is your ultimate goal for this?
That's a great question. I ask myself that every day because I've been spending a lot more, I think, dollars and cents than probably what it's worth on the back end. It's better used as a tool for me than it is as a software for others. So we kind of blacked out our market. So if you're looking in Dallas area, you're not going to really be able to utilize it the way that I utilize it. So I guess it's, let's call it a side project. We've made over 250 grand using this app by just finding houses that we would have overlooked if we hadn't had been, going it over the past 2 years, like manually looking at these properties. So it's a side project that we're losing money on right now, but I don't know, maybe one day we'll get some subscriber counts and it'll make money. I think the value is there. Current value is just using it myself.
So you said you made 200,000 on it, but you feel like y'all spent way more than that into trying to figure it out?
Well, I spend like $3 grand a month on ads, and the subscribers I get from ads is usually like 10 a month, paying subscribers. So it's like a $200 a month. So the math doesn't make sense on that. But the 250,000 I've made have been from the flip houses I found using it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a great question. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and this is what, maybe I shouldn't be focusing on this, but I get excited about things like this. And so spend some time and energy.
You also said you do a meetup group, so I feel like this is a tool for them. I mean, and I feel like that's what makes, your groups different than other groups, is like you're actually trying to provide a tool to them. So I always feel like that's an extra sell you can do. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing. We built a calculator and we offer it to our members in school. So, I mean, that's something you might consider as well.
Man, yeah, we've considered that. I think the challenge is if we offer this tool to our local market, now we're directly competing with them as buyers. And so we black out the market.
Partner.
Hey, there you go. So I'd rather make the 40, 50 grand on a flip.
You're cornering the market, so that makes it.
Yeah. But I mean, you're more than welcome to share it. There's a free trial on it. Test it out. It's good for some people. We'll put it in our school, and then, like I said, if any information, I'll follow up with you, and I'll push it on my social media as well in our AspiRE. Yeah, I appreciate that, Charles. Man, I really appreciate you.
No, thank you. No, I appreciate you taking the time and sharing with us. Questions?
Yeah, I'm trying to think here.
And just know you have been talking for like 30 minutes, so you're wrong. You can't talk for 45 minutes. Andrew?
Yeah, I was gonna say, talk a little bit more about it. So you were working at a gas station, and then you were what got you into flipping houses? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so it was rentals first before flips, and we still buy rentals. But I was working full time at a gas station, going to college part time because my mom wanted to see me go to college. I never got a degree, and it was Quick Trip, so it was like Wawa up there, or like a big like they paid us well enough to buy a house. And so I bought the first house from my landlord that I was renting it from. I called him up and did a direct to seller sale before I knew what that was. Rented out the rooms to the roommates I already had, kicked the guy out of the master, moved in the master. And at that point, my bills for the month were like $300. And I was like, this is sweet. It just dropped down $700. And so the next year I said, let me try to do it again. So I moved to another house, brought my roommates with me, rented out the first house. And at that point I was cash flow positive. And that's when it kind of stuck. So every year thereafter, I bought another house. And then I got married, and my wife had a salary. And so, and the CEO of the Quick Trip, Chester, he passed away, and his son took over. And so I was 1 foot out the door already. And because I got married and my wife had a salary, I sold one of my houses too. And that gave me, $100K free cash. So that was like a little over a year's worth of salary. So I'm like, okay, I got a year to figure this out. And that's kind of when I just took a year to grind and see what I could do, and met my business partner Shane along the way.
Nice.
Cool.
It's a team sport, man.
Yeah.
It's a team sport.
Yeah. Have you been in the same area in Texas the whole time?
Oh yeah, I'm a homebody man. So
Okay.
DFW. I think you have a competitive advantage when you invest where you live or where you know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. You guys
I could
looking
talk all
at,
day about that. So
you guys looking to make any more local connections?
in Milwaukee,
No, in Texas.
what do you mean by local connections?
A good buddy of mine, and a real estate investor himself, is out in Texas now. He's still getting his roots settled down into there, but has an interest in the development space. They're looking to expand.
Oh man, we're always networking. We host a meetup once a month. The next one's actually in 3 days in Plano, and it's a huge part. Like, I think
Sure.
you may have been here, the initial conversation with Charles. I'm not sure if you heard, but we have like a meetup before our meetup where it's a paid program, but it's where the serious people kind of come to network and mingle, and then the free program right after that, where we get to meet new faces and kind of see who's in this and who can we partner with and how can we help.
Yeah, I'll get your information from Charles tonight, and I'll send them your way. See if there's anything.
Awesome.
See if there's any interest.
Yeah. Shane will be at the meetup. I'm out of town all summer, but if you let me know, I can do a three-way. We'll do a three-way chat and get it all squared up.
Yeah, whatever works. Happy to make an introduction.
Question? So why do you focus more on the flipping other than like burring or long-term holds or anything?
I think it's seasonal. So a few years ago, we were focused on rentals, just buying a ton of rentals. And then interest rates went up. Rentals are harder. In our market, it's a little bit different than Milwaukee. I know I've got some friends that invest in Milwaukee, in Kenosha, actually, that do. And the price points and the rents, you can still burr. In Dallas, our price points, we're typically buying between 300 and 400,000. So the burr is kind of out of the question on that. And then it's been our vertical income stream seems like it shifts every few years. So about 4 years ago, our construction business was making a crap ton of money. And, 3 years ago, the real estate brokerage was just making bukus of money. In the past 2 years, the flipping has been the best vertical income. So we just chase. I feel like we chase the dollar. It's a good question though.
As far as on your flips, like, who manages does the project management? I'm assuming you're obviously not doing all the work yourself on 40 flips a year. So, I mean, you have contractors that come in there, and who manages that?
Yeah. So I've got 2 full-time project managers, and then I've got 2 full-time, I would say like pseudo project managers. They know how to swing hammers and get stuff done. So that's been helpful, and they get bonused based off of budget and timeline. So it's like if we win, they win, and over half their salary comes from bonuses. So it truly is a model where if we're taking on all the risk, but if we win, they win, everybody gets paid. I think the biggest tip that I tell everybody, and this is like the hardest thing to do in practice, especially when you're new, is never pay deposits and only pay upon completion to contractors. And so we've all been in a spot where we've gotten taken. I've even gotten taken for, cash when I broke my rule. I haven't broken my rule in 2 years, which has been great. But the number one thing you can do when you flip is quality assurance. Check the property yourself, especially with AI now in the picture. You can like paint this wall green and it'll be done. And that, like, even though contractors are like, I'm done, I need to get paid. It's Friday, I need to get paid. We just tell them no, not till I walk it. And they have to deal with that, and always like you follow those rules. You set the expectation ahead of time. You follow those rules and you'll win. And one quick story that comes to mind is like we had a sheetrocker. This was like 18 months ago. He's like, okay, I'm done with sheetrock. Come take a look at the house. I'm ready to get paid the $4,000 or whatever it was. I'm like, okay, so I'm like, I'll come walk the house on Tuesday, so you can get paid, by Friday. I'll be good. I walked the house and there was 2 spots where I needed patches, and he's like, dude, there's just 2 spots. Like this whole house needed a ton of work, but there were still 2 spots that needed patches. And so I said this expectation was set ahead of time. When it's 100% complete, you get paid. I said, look, I drove 40 minutes over here. You told me you were done. You're not done. You expect me to pay you. Don't call me back unless you're 100% done, and I'm not going to be back until next Tuesday. You lost out on that opportunity. And so I've lost a lot of empathy, I think, with subs over the years, but you just got to stick to those rules, because if you don't, the one time you don't, they'll walk all over you.
Yeah, and so that includes like materials and all that kind of stuff. Like you're not paying anything until the job's completely done, or what?
Yeah, correct. So I'll buy material if it's finished material, flooring, tile, grout, schluter, trim edge. I'm not buying sheetrock. I'm not buying hardy. I'm not buying screws. That's all in the bid. And if they don't want to operate that way, they can go find work elsewhere. It's just not worth my time in managing. I mean, I got another story I can share with you. This actually happened like this year, where I'll walk the house, I'll count, okay, 60 sheets of sheetrock. Okay, he'll count 60 sheets of sheetrock. And then we'll break our rule. We'll say, okay, I'll buy the sheetrock for you. You buy it, and then hey, I need 15 more sheets. Wait a minute. We counted together 60 sheets, 15 more sheets. I'm buying material. Okay, that's $185 or whatever, $210, something like that. Well, what happened to the initial amount that we both agreed on? Why am I paying more? And you'll learn sometimes it gets returned, and sometimes they don't care about how much they use. And so you'll see cuts and stuff in the trash where it's like, dude, if you would have done it this pattern, you wouldn't be wasting all this sheetrock. I know it sounds minutia, but when you do this at scale, it matters. So we just eliminated garbage disposers from all of our flips about a month ago, because it costs us total cost per disposer, running electrical, plumbing, install, actual disposers, about $220. And you multiply that over 40 houses, that's almost 10 grand a year. So we make sure the subs need to provide all their own installation material, and that's that. They don't want to do it, they don't get the job.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Anyone else? Well, Richard, thank you so much, man. I'm gonna follow up with like some emails just to get like all your stuff, because I know I tagged you in some of our posts, but I definitely am gonna make some clips of this, and then we'll promote the hell out of you in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it, Charles. Thanks for having me, man. Let me know how I can help you too. I've really appreciated the friendship over the past year and a half or so.
I appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, goodbye.
All right. Well, all I have left is to go through a live deal.
Take it away.
Let me make sure I have it. I recently just went over. There's that. No, that's not it. That one. Right? No, it's this one. There it is. And then I can get you guys out of here. We can finish up early.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, that works.
Where is it? Sorry. I was rocking and rolling. Now I'm stuttering right now. Across the finish line. That's it. That's not enough. Is that it? I don't think this is it. Nope. Sold.
But anyways, it still works.
It's sold.
No, that's not it. Where's the wood? There it is. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
250,000 for a duplex. 76th Street, too.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how much is that?
250.
On 76th Street?
That's what I was thinking.
Damn, bro. Does anybody else want this? Because
They priced it wrong. So this is where I was talking about earlier, where they're trying to take advantage of the market has shifted.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy duplexes for $250 over there,
yeah,
but they haven't did it.
yeah.
So one right here,
600.
they're getting $1,300 a month,
Oh,
Dude,
God,
that's crazy.
and now they're selling for $250, and then now they're saying, and then they put in here rent producing duplex. Yeah, because why? As I go look,
That's a 3.1%.
yeah, I ran it at cap rate. It's like a 3.2 cap rate, yeah, 3.1. So they bought it for $108,000 10 years ago.
Oh, damn.
108,000. Okay, yeah, that's reasonable.
So yeah, it's cash flowing with the current person who put their
Yeah,
tenants in
yeah.
there 10 years ago, because at 10 years ago, rents for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath was around $650.
Sure.
So they never changed the rent. So this is either the tenants that have been in there since 2016.
Well, it doesn't matter, even if it's not. The debt service on the property is still at 108,000 and probably
Yeah.
4% interest rate back when it was purchased 10 years ago. $250,000 at 6%, you're looking at almost $2,000 a month in debt service.
So it hasn't been updated. You can tell right here. It needs to be updated. This is all needs to be updated. So now I know going in, I gotta put in around 65,000. So I'm already at. So like this is part of where we can run the numbers. But
Yeah, $1,500 a month just to cover
so
it.
now I bought it at 250. I got to put 65 in it. I'm already at 310. I ran it. Like I said, we can go through it. But
Yeah, go through the
so I'm gonna do our calculator.
What's the cross street? Beecher?
Yeah, Beecher and
Beecher.
South 76. Yeah, I was thinking about this might be a good one for you. You just got to kick out old titties and get it at the right price.
We offered
Plenty of
on this. I
property.
didn't even
Huh?
we looked at this house.
Yeah, we did. Yep. But they were being ridiculous. So, because they've only went down 5,000 since this, and they've been on the market for
Yeah, it's not like
125 days.
it's not like it's a owned home, you know, where
I forget what we offered, but didn't even
No, we were way below because of what you need to put in there. But we're gonna use the calculator.
Yeah, I mean,
We gonna see it live in real action. So I'm probably gonna use some old stuff that I pulled. So I built this calculator for AspiRE. It's probably one of the few first times. So this is what I also do every Tuesday. I do deal analysis. I use this calculator. So deal calculator is based off AspiRE. And this is part of the reason why we're fighting for the name. Because the whole system that I created was built around AspiRE. So A is for asset or address. So it basically gives you a system of how to analyze a deal. A is for address and asset. So basically the premise is you should find out everything you need to know about that asset. And then you should, it's kind of like reverse engineering. What do you think you're going to do? Right? So you should go into it, hey, that duplex, I'm probably going to house hack. So that's how you approach this in that situation of, or I'm buying this and it's going to be a fix and flip. The beauty of this is that it tells a story. And that's where I was trying to build it. I just didn't want you to type in numbers and then it just gives you number feedback, right? It's like, what is the square footage? What is rent? Here is your number per rent. But then this is actually telling you different things. So the beauty of it is that you can take the MLS sheet and give it to it. So that's what I'm going to do because it's asking you for all this information. So it's like, give me this. Well, with the MLS, I can do A and then S. S is seller situation. It's always important to know the seller situation when you're analyzing a deal because if it's a regular seller, a distressed seller, LLC, city, or the bank, right? Those are typically your type of sellers. That helps with your negotiation, right? This seller has been on the market for 125 days. So one of the questions is asked is how motivated is the seller? Well, it's been on for 125 days. It's a very good chance that the seller is motivated to do something. So it takes all those things in consideration, right? Because if I just put in there, it's 2,000 square feet, they're offering 650 thing, and it's gonna say, oh, bad deal. Well, that calculator doesn't know this property's been on the market for 125 days. This will take that into consideration and say, hey, you might be able to negotiate this. So even though the numbers are bad, we can renegotiate and say this is the price that you should be at. So it's like I said, it's like having a conversation with you. And the cool thing about it is that I can actually talk to it. Use the MLS tax PDF as the A and S and then stop there. Also, the MLS was back in May 9th. Today is July 8th. It's actually been on the market for 125 days. And the new price is $250,000. So I'm using an OMLS. That's why I had to update it because it's just going to take what it is right now. It's not going to go out to the marketing search until I tell it to. So again, the other thing that I love about this is because you're telling to the AI, it's keeping all this information. So it's kind of storing it. So now that it knows that you researched this property, now you can go find it later. What I've been doing, which I'm going to bring over now, is that I've been using Claude. So what I've been doing with Claude is tell Claude to run it, but then I have this Google Drive. I tell Claude to run it and then put all this information in this spreadsheet for me. So now I can track it that way. And now I can keep track of everything. So as you can see over here, this is the verdict. So this is telling me that based on the information I gave it and ran it, the green is good deals and I should move forward. Right? So not to say it was a good deal, it's just say you should look deeper into this deal.
Yeah. It's just you're not wasting your time running numbers on shit that doesn't fit.
It's not an immediate failure.
Yep. So basically what all I do is I give it all this information I'm going to give right now. It'll say, based off this static information you gave me, this is a deal, you should look into it. So then, for example, I'll go into it and then say, hey, these are the addresses you should look at. I'll go look at them and like, oh, for example, this would be a bad deal because it has 2 tenants. I have to kick out one of the tenants to try to do the BRRRR method. So like initially, this is not a good deal because it has 2 tenants. We can't just go in there and do a hard money deal. We have to either negotiate where the 2 tenants are gone so that we can use a hard money. So it gives you all that. Uh-oh. It went. Why did it do that? It's not supposed to do that. I'm moving it. You son of a.
Disconnected from the TV.
Yeah, it just saying I don't want to talk to you now. There we go.
So wait, what is Claude?
Claude is AI.
It's
It's
another type of AI bot,
Yeah.
like ChatGPT or Grok, but
Yeah.
it's a little more intelligent when it comes to like scripting, mathematics, writing styles and things like that.
There's something I like Gemini, but I haven't even heard it.
no. So like they all like at this point they all kind of do their own specialty.
Yep.
So Claude right now is basically your VA. It really kind of narrowed it down of you. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. I'm using you. I'm literally using you. Normally it does that because I'm not moving or anything. So like basically what I've been teaching it to do is like, for example, is that I've been teaching it to go into my email, scanning it. If it's a repeat newsletter, delete it. Anything that looks like a human it'll update me in summary and then it'll say, hey, Charles, this is what they said. Do you want me to draft the email or not? So it does those things like this. Instead of me, normally it would take me about 30 to 45 minutes to do an actual deal analysis with this, as you can kind of see, because I had to upload all these documents. Now I can just put the documents in a Google Drive and it'll go in there. It'll extract that data. It'll put it in the calculator, give the results, and then put it on instead of me doing it.
Okay.
So now I'm trying to get to the point where I'm only looking at it and seeing if it meets the criteria, and then I have it say, yeah, this is a go, and then it'll try to prep to schedule for me.
Okay.
So now I even do that where it'll look at my schedule and say, hey, you have time here. We can schedule it next week, Tuesday at 2:00.
Yeah. So cool.
Because it's eliminating me saying, I don't really want to go look at that. It's just like, meet this criteria, go, and then figure out later.
Cut out some steps.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm at A&S. So P is purchase price and purchase assumption. So obviously the seller is always gonna have their purchase. You should have some similar of like, okay, I think it should be here. So we'll run that now. So run P, and the financing strategy that we will be using is hard money at 4 points to the purchase price and the rehab budget. And then also we will be doing a DSCR loan to get out of it. And we'll say the interest rate is 8% on a 80% LTV loan. So typically it asks for your financing situation at the purchase area. Until I give it it won't have everything, but at least it's gonna start taking into consideration financing. And one of the things that I've been learning is that it's very hard to negotiate analyze a deal when you don't know your financing, right? Because it's hard to say this is a good deal when I know my DSCR loan is 9% and the payment is going to be $1,500. But yeah, it's saying right now I'm getting rid of $1,800. the rents is gonna be 13. Well, it's assuming you have a different loan, right? So the more accurate you can give it of your actual financing, it can actually predict your true return. And so it's gonna take generic information if you don't give it that. Again, like, I like it because it's giving me a story. So it's like MLS shows the duplex currently consists of 2 occupied, rents for $650 per month. The comparable in area is 200 to 370, and then approximately it's 265. So this is part of what I was talking about. You want me to buy it at 250? I know I got to put at least 50 in it. So I'm already at 300. So unless I'm house hacking, I'm living there, and I think I'm not going to leave for a while, that's the only way I'm going to buy this property. But if I'm a retail agent, all I'm going to say is, oh, duplex down the street, sold for 250. I have this one here. They're both 2 bedroom, 1 bath. They obviously have to be the same property. So then again, it talks to you. So like, this is where it's going to start saying the proposed financing structure is institutional style for a Burge style execution. Acquire with hard money, covering acquisition and renovation, complete renovations and stabilize the property, and exit into a long-term DSCR loan. So it's kind of, the whole point of the calculator was to work with people who are learning and like start having a conversation, right? Most new investors, they struggle because they're just running numbers and they're not getting any feedback. The whole point was this, to give you feedback. So like, you put some information in, what does that information mean from this deal? So you should always be learning something, even when it's a bad deal.
So that was for the council observation there. So like, what was its other findings?
Oh, I haven't finished yet. So,
Okay.
So now I'm at I. I's for improvement and investment. So obviously 98% of the deals are always going to look at, there's going to be some improvement, because we don't want the regular buy and hold deals, right? Because we can't redeploy our capital.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole point of most of the deals that we're going to look at is that we're always trying to figure out how can we put the capital in it and then get it back out. So I's improvement. So what I'm going to do is kind of what Bird Dog does. So I'm going to say, please look back at the MLS tax PDF. It has photos on it. Analyze the photos and give me a rehab budget estimate. Assume a moderate to rehab for this property. So because the PDF has some pictures, it does learn that it can look at it. I gave it, I ran like a report in the background. So it has this, I want to say this documentation that I put together of how it should start pricing certain things when it comes in. So it has taken the local market of what certain things cost. So again, it's a rough estimate, but it will break down. So it's based on this, it's saying aluminum siding, all this interior kitchens are dated and would benefit. So again, it's just breaking it down, is actually having a conversation with you and just saying kitchens, out of date. It's literally going through it. And then it does give you this. So now the other beauty that is, it breaks it down, that now you can start reaching out and talking to actual people. Right now I can actually call a painter and say, well, I got this much square footage. How much will you charge me? Well, now I'm going off 5. If they say 4, I know to go with them. 6, I know to call someone else. Right. So it breaks down those kitchen updates. 2 of them, 14,000. So you're assuming you spend around 7,000 each kitchen to update it.
How accurate do you think those?
It's very conservative. So I would say it's more, I would say sometimes it could be on the lower end,
Okay.
but it gives you a good basis of what you should look for. All of these is taking into consideration probably just very bare minimum. Like I said, I told it moderate. I could say you could probably add a couple thousand, but I feel like 52,000 for what we're talking about is a fair amount. That kitchen, I mean, we look at it. Like, there's not much cabinetry, right? So I mean, I could probably get that done for like $750. flooring in here is small. I could probably do that in there for about 1,000. Sink and kitchen fix up. I definitely think you can get this kitchen done for 5,000. I mean, what's going to really cost is probably the appliance that's going to add up to it more, but easily probably get that done for 5,000 just from the space. What else was it kind of saying? Mechanicals, again, they're assuming some plumbing you probably need to do. I would also think because the bathroom, it doesn't have a vent. So, I mean, again, it's probably not taking that into consideration, so it could be a little bit more. But with bathroom updates they're saying basically 4,000. So that look about right.
Yeah, I mean, what you don't spend in the kitchen will probably go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I mean, new flooring, I mean, probably new sink, right? Toilet is over there. You probably want to update. I mean, they have this built in. You can probably do something better that makes it look nicer. Again, I don't think it's costing that much. The only thing that it might be a little bit more expensive is the vent. Probably some piping behind.
If you end up doing the tub or the backsplash, that'll be the most.
Yeah, I mean, you can do those bath things. Like I know they get paid like 5,000. They'll come in and just do that and just put that thing. I mean, that's going to be a little bit more, but it's more sturdy. You're going to have a warranty. So like you probably add 2,000 to that budget. Now you get the whole thing taken care of. So even that one, like I said, I think it's fair. Like I said, I think it might be on the, like I said, I put moderate. So it's going to be more on the cheaper side if I was saying a little bit. So I think you can get a 52. It always put a contingency in it. So it's always putting 10% contingency. So it's assuming the budget is going to be between 55 and 60. I think that's fair. Putting 30,000 each total, because you might have to, like I said, landscaping. So it breaks it out per unit. So even though you might do the roof, it assumes that you're going to split that cost between both units. So it's basically saying 30 each. And then it gives you like some little things like this, which I always think, because this is a 1910 property, the council recommends carrying the rehab budget at 57 rather than the bare minimum. Other duplexes commonly present concealed costs, particularly plumbing, electrical installation, and framing repairs that are not evident in listing photographs. Using the higher value figure reduces the risk of understating total project costs during underwriting. Again, I feel like that's helping you learn, right? It's just presenting things to you so why you should make a different choice and what number you should be using. Now the final one, I did mark it before.
Already.
Yeah, R. So rental meter. So I normally use rental meter. So basically that's all I'm gonna say is please use this for R and then go to E for exit. So R is just revenue. So obviously it's either cash flow or your profit. So typically it's just going to give rental, because I put that information. But again, this is what I'm talking about. They're selling it for at $650. The rents in that area should be $1,300.
Yeah, definitely.
So is it there? Yes, but now you're basically telling me I gotta buy it at what is gonna end it. Right? If I buy it at $250, the rents should already be $1,300.
Yep.
And that's where I think they don't understand. And I don't know if that's just
That's the residential rate.
yeah, that's just being a residential agent, right? It's like, oh, that property over there sold for that, therefore this property should have sold for that.
Yeah.
Again, it takes it all this in consideration, and then it kind of breaks it down for you. So it's basically saying at current rents, this is the target rent after renovation. So then this is what it's going to improve to. Because right now, this is what it's getting. This is what it should be. So from a standpoint, it's an ideal property to purchase. It's just at the wrong price. And it's been on the market for 125 days. So exit strategy. So then this is the exit. So it's 5 exit strategies that it takes you through. It's buy and hold, BRRRR, fix and flip, seller financing, and wholesaling. So based off all the information we gave it, it should give you one of these. And therefore, this is what it's telling me right now, is that the BRRRR is the best use, especially because of what I told them the financing strategy that we're supposed to be using. Then buy and hold is the next. And then it kind of breaks it down. The financing structure you select that aligns well with this. Acquire with hard money, renovate, increase rents, and then refinance. So obviously, because I gave it that, this is the primary suggestion. Flip, it doesn't, and it's because of the current tenants. You can't go in there and fix it up. It just feels like it's a headache. Wholesaling is not eligible because the maximum acceptable offer is too high. And then it tells you like what mostly wholesalers are looking for, which is 15%. Then creative finance is not recommended at this age. I think it could be there because you know they bought it at 108. If they really want that number, all right, hold a note for this long then, and then I can get you that number, especially if you are going to keep it. So that's, again, something you might consider, Andrew, is like, okay, I'm going to be house hacking that. I'm going to be in it a while. If I can refinance, pull some money out, and then pay them off, and then I can still pull my money back, then it makes sense. So it could be a unique situation from that standpoint.
Sure.
So then it tells you the primary, highest, and best use. So now it's going to say the AspiRE framework is not complete through the exit strategy. So now I'm going to ask it to give me the final verdict. So it's giving me based on what we presented it with, which I didn't tell it a different price. So it's just going to give me everything as is. So 250, 57, we're 307 in, gross rent 1,300, stabilized is 26, 31, effective gross income 5% minus, so it's at 30 now. So I think that's incorrect. So basically, it's just saying, going off of this information, I need to give it some more, which I'm gonna ask it. But it's basically saying this is not a good deal, like what it is, which we knew that. But then it scores you on 5 different categories, so that's why you got 67 points. You got 67 points because there was a deal there. You gave it a lot of information, and that's what it's kind of scoring you on, and that's why I like it as a tool, because as the more you gather information, it gives you more points. And so then now you know. So what I also taught it for me is that anything over 70, we should consider it. So it's considered a rock. So then the deals that we're truly looking for is anything actually 80 or above. And so it's telling what it is flagging and say ARV is not established, no verified operating expense budget, DS cannot be calculated, da da da. So it's saying this is what it needs, but this is what it's telling you what it needs to get to an 85.
Give it, have it assume 45% operating expenses. See what it comes back with.
So it's bringing everything down. So it's doing with the updated. It's still taking 5%. This is your effective gross at 45% of operating expenses. Now we're down to 16,000. So now it's 74. Now the score. Saying it possibly could be a rock based off that. And then resulting in the SCR loan is 8%. So the more information you're giving it, the more it's saying, okay, we can possibly make it a deal. Okay, what is the
And you want a 12% return.
What's MAO? Minimal offer?
maximum acceptable offer?
No, maximum. Gotcha.
So we're assuming ARV is 265. Target investor return profit is 12% of ARV, which is 31,000. Rehab is 57,000. Closing and holding selling costs is 10% of ARV, which is 26,000. I believe that is correct.
That's probably a lot more accurate.
They bought it 10 years ago. They have not updated it. They have not raised the rent. They bought it at 108. They probably increased 40,000. They did not increase 100,000.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, yeah, 140,000. They think they basically doubled their property in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That is fucking insane. Oops, I'm sorry.
It's flipping.
Yes. So again, giving it this information, it kind of fills in some gaps where, like I said, I've used other calculators. It just put in certain information. If you don't put in the right number, or you might assume this is going to give you a way different outcome. Where I feel like you can have a little bit of a back and forth. AI can kind of better understand you, and then, like I said, it kind of talks to you. So then it's saying,
Yeah, I mean, even at their current rents, assuming 8% cap rate and 40% operating expenses, fair market value is 117,000.
it's a little much, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I see it all the time, unfortunately. I see it a lot more in my industry, being in commercial. You get residential agents that, family or friend or whoever knows they do something in real estate and they have a business